It's not Gabby is not here today. She'll be back tomorrow. But I am a voice actor. and so is Gabby, but she's again not here, so she'll be back tomorrow. But today, I'm going solo, flying on my own. So I am excited to be talking to you all today. Make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button as always. Also, make sure you tell me where you're from, post in the chat, say hello, where you're located, and also this is a great day to ask questions. Lots of questions that would be absolutely amazing for you. So please, please, please ask any questions away. I'm here for you. And I think we got. I wanted to talk today about I think a very important topic that we all of voice actors, I feel, at least all the ones I've worked with and I've seen, that we all have some challenge with. And that is how to set up a realistic, profitable schedule. How do we schedule our time? What should our time be focused on? What do I need to do? What do I have to do? Do I do what I want to do? How does doing what I want to do or what I feel like I need to do, is that really what I must do? And by the way, I have an entirely other life. I have a full-time job. I have a family. I've got a lot of other responsibilities. How do I manage all of this and realistically get a full-time salary if that's what I want to grow or make any money for that matter. So I think the scheduling and our conversation today, I think it's going to be really, really good for you. Real quick, on a side note, very excited. We've kicked off our new semester at VO Journey Academy. If you're not there, of course I'm going to be really excited about it, but you got to check it out. Last night we had our acting foundations class, and we had over 40 attendees. It was amazing. They were amazing. We talked about intention and storytelling and did a lot of activity, and we're going to be building a lot more improv into that class. So, I'm just really excited. I had a great time. This is a great moment for you to check out and join VO Journey Academy. Like I said, we're the first month 50% off. You can go to VOsJourney.com. It's right there. Try us out. You're going to love it. And again, if you miss any classes, they're all archived, so you can watch them on replay. So, all right. Now, let's talk about scheduling. Oh, we have some people. We've got John. Hey, John. Good to see you from London. John, you are a machine, my friend. I love it. Tracy from Minnesota. Good to have you. James from Austin, Texas. What's up, you guys? So today, the idea about scheduling, I want to start by kind of thinking from a standpoint of course, you we need to make sure that we are first understanding how much time you actually have a day to work on your voiceover business. This is I think sometimes overlooked, or we don't physically write this information down. Okay. And I've learned that by putting this down on paper to say, okay, I realistically have an hour, 2 hours, 30 minutes, 4 hours. I realistically have this much time a day, a week, that I can actually work on my voiceover business. Putting that down somewhere, knowing that information, that is vital to your success, to our scheduling. Without that information, we're not going to be able to take the next steps. Right? We're putting a plan together with with our life schedule that will actually generate revenue for you in your voiceover business. This scheduling piece for me was one of the most difficult things to do outside of my job, because all the jobs I'd worked, well, all of them, I was always told my schedule, or the schedule was always planned, and already pre-planned or expected to live within a certain time frame, right? So there was always a schedule worked out for me. I always worked this many days. I had this many days. All that was already done, right? It was never left into my hands what scheduling I have. Now, some of you might have that, with your job or what you're doing, but the reality is that it is 9 times out of 10, we're not used to managing fully our own schedule. So when you are left to manage your own schedule, for me, it was quite daunting. And I found that I was like, wow, I've got all this time to do. It was almost like going back to college for the first time. You remember going to college, you get there and you're like, I don't have to go home. I don't have to even sleep in my dorm room. I can do any you can do anything you want. You can decide to go or not go to your class. I mean, it's just right. You're given all of this freedom, and so it's on us to plan for our job. And again, and this is still, if you're working a full-time job, you still have this time that you have to actively say, I'm going to work this amount of hours. Now, does that change and does stuff come up? Yes, but we still need to have that idea. So let's say that we say, all right, I've got, you know 2 hours to work every day, okay, on my voiceover business. All right, whether that's the morning, whether that's in the evening, whether that's after everybody goes to bed, whether that's in the middle of the day, whether that's on breaks. Okay, we determine this is what I have. Now that we have that, the next thing to do is to say, okay, what is the absolute must be thing that must be done beside next to the things that I want to do and the things that I think I need to do. So how do we determine which ones are which? So first, I think in the end, no matter what we say and no matter what we do, we have to get work. That's what we're here for, right? Our business, the model is we generate revenue through booking voiceover jobs. So in order to book voiceover jobs, we have to do the things that take the least path to get that job. That's an important. I've always said, I've always talked about writing down in your schedule and doing the things that you need to do to get voiceover work. But over the years, I could argue that I mean, working on your, uh, different types of warm ups and characterizations and all your acting training and all the different things that we have to do, setting up your businesses, setting up your accounts, working on your DAW, getting all of these things are absolutely a part of getting voiceover work, and they are a necessity. Okay, but all of these things play a part of the overall picture, but they are not, in the end, the absolute must have, or I guess I keep saying must do's, but that doesn't sound right. The things that you have to do every single day in order to put your hat in the ring to actually get hired, right? The reason why I like, and on a side, the reason why I like VO Journey Academy is because this year we've added the tech class, we've added the acting, the market, we've added the specialty stuff. We've added a lot of things to take care of all of that training, so that your training is taken care of, so your focus can solely be on auditioning, sending proposals, reaching out directly to, production houses, marketing agencies, et cetera, to physically go and get that work, right? And that's the must haves. That's the absolute, I've got to do half of that time, an hour, 75% of that time has to be dedicated with me actually advertising or selling. I'm going to use that word, advertising or selling. Okay. The other part can be work on all the other things that you have to do to keep a business going and that we have to do to get better at our craft. But the advertising and selling, we have to be doing that on a daily basis. And I can tell you from experience in my voiceover business and Academy Voices. I mean, Academy Voices is growing. I mean, it's growing like hotcakes. Jump on that train too. By the way, you get in Academy Voices for free if you join the VO Journey Academy. But if I'm not actively selling and advertising daily, people don't think about what I'm doing. We're living lives. We're busy. Same with the marketing agencies, the companies, the video production companies we as voice actors are targeting. So on your schedule, when you set it up, you have to think, I must do this every single day, no matter what. There's one thing I have to do, and that's audition. No matter what you do, you got to get those auditions in. No matter what you do, you got to send those emails. No matter what you do, you have to make those advertising posts. Okay, branding posts are one thing. Branding's important. It's very important. And there's part of branding, like so we're doing so Gabby's doing a branding 101 class in a VO Journey Academy, and you have to cut part of starting is learning your brand, right? What you got to market something or you got to sell something. You know what I mean? And we don't just sell blank voiceovers, right? We sell different feelings, emotions, communications, trust, sincerity. You know what I mean? That's something that I like to focus on in my sales. So the point I'm trying to make though is that we have to sell and advertise our services daily. Now, can that be on platforms? Yes. So there's one way to do it. So you've got to get those platforms filled out. Sometimes if you get those platforms filled out, you have to get so here we go. So let's talk about working backwards. So you say, all right, so Anthony, you said, all right, on my schedule, I've got 2 hours a day. What there's things that I must do. Everything else, I need to put to aside to where I've dedicated just for my training purposes. And when I train, that's when I train. Every time else, I'm trying to sell and advertise. Okay. When you get work, by the way, part of that has to then go to doing the work. But always 50% of that time should be selling and advertising. Now, let's work backwards and how this is going to then come to task. So, if you say, all right, well, I need to be on the platforms. Let's just start with platforms. Okay, great. Well, working backwards, you say, what do I need then to be on the platforms? Okay, well, first I got to get the account set up, and then I need a thumbnail. Okay, I got to be able to put my picture up somewhere so that people can see me, and I've got to have a thumbnail. It needs to look nice, or I'm not going to get work because people are not going to click on me because they think I'm an amateur, not a professional. Okay, so there's that. Then you need demos. You need recordings, right? So then you need that. So in order to do that, either you decide I'm going to do it by myself, I'm going to get someone else to do it, I'm going to work with somebody, I'm going to have so now working backwards, we realize there are things that you must do in order to get to that place where you need to go, right? And so what I see happen to voice actors is the little bit of time they have, we get caught up. It happens to me too. I get searching something, I go down I call it the rabbit holes. I get stuck going down falling down a rabbit hole, and I can't stop myself. And next thing I know, I spend 4 to 6 hours doing something that ended up not even coming out the way I wanted it to come out. And if that's happened to you, it's extremely frustrating, and you feel really defeated. When you worked like a whole bunch of hours to do something and then it completely failed, and then you're like, this has just been a colossal waste of time, and you feel like you've gotten behind by doing all the work that you did. I hate that feeling, but the idea here is that part of your scheduling is also, again, knowing exactly what you must do at this moment. Nothing more, nothing less. So, that old quote, and I'm going to butcher it, but, from Abraham Lincoln, right, where he says, if it was it him or was it George Washington? I can't remember who was it, but it was the one with the tree. I think it was Lincoln. That says, if I ever chopped down a tree and it took me 6 hours, I'd spend, 4 or 5 hours planning it. You know what I mean? Like planning to do it, and then just an hour or two to do it. Again, I butchered the quote, but that's the summarized version of it. The idea is that you plan out these things, and the execution, right, is typically what should take the least amount of time. All right, but the planning, getting that schedule plan, making sure it's exactly what you must do, is paramount. All right, I think I've made that point. I've made that point. Let's go ahead and questions. Ask questions. And let me know your challenges with scheduling. I know we had let's see. So John said last night's class was exceptional. Thank you, John. Well worth being up 1 a.m. I know you're a trooper. John's in the UK, and he stayed up for the class, and you're amazing. He said, was it worth staying up? 100% yes. Thank you. Steve, it is so good to see you, man. Need to get back in, but can't till the 21st. Can't wait to have you, buddy. And I'm looking forward to seeing you on the 21st, my friend. You're going to be so excited. We have really rebuilt BioJourney Academy, and so many things that are that are new and exciting and exceptional for people to learn and grow. So, Edwin says the truth is time management is my kryptonite. Yeah, yeah, me too. Me too, especially when as you go along too, and you realize you don't have to manage. When do you get up? When do you do this? When you don't, no one tells you what to do. It's a challenge. AJ says, "What are the most common mistakes that you notice beginners making?" Ah, good, 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 good. So for me, one of the most common mistakes I see often is waiting, waiting for something to happen. Um, I see a lot of new people very excited to start. You get that, that entrepreneurial, that lightning strike, and then you do a whole. I see a lot of people do a whole bunch of work and then they stop and they wait because they want to see results from the burst of the work that they just did, and they stop, meaning that they don't keep producing new content. They don't keep reaching out to new people. They don't keep going in the face of waiting for that first or second job to come in, right? Or that first bite. They stop and they wait, right? They reevaluate instead of just continuing to move forward. I've learned that it is, I know it seems silly, but it is a marathon, right? It is not a sprint. And I've seen people get work the very, first or second or third day they've posted something on a platform, and other people's take 6, 8 months to get their first job, right? It took me almost 2 months to get my first job, right? And it was an audiobook from ACX, $50. Never forget it. Sports book. About being sport. Yeah. I mean, you always remember your first job, right? So, you know, that's one of the biggest mistakes I see. Um, and I would think another mistake is not paying close enough attention to their audio, the quality of your audio. I cannot overstate this enough. I've worked with some people who, I mean, they just keep being better and better voice actors, but for whatever reason, they won't change the quality of their audio, and it is not that good. And it makes, and they're probably not getting half of the work they could do if they focused more on making their audio better. We've been talking about the hobo fort and treating your space, right? Getting, working up to at least trying to get better equipment. We start where we start. Again, I started with a blue snowball mic, right? A $40 mic and a pop filter with pantyhose. That was what I started with, but I built my way up. So those are kind of some of the main mistakes. And again, like I said, the not getting training. That's those are the three top mistakes: not getting training, waiting before you get training. So yeah, I hope that helps, AJ. Let's see. John says, "Is the quote give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 hours." Thank you. You said it so much better. Yes, that's exactly the quote. That's exactly. Thank you. Steve says, "Hey, Solo sir, I know it's awesome, man. Thank you, Steve." John said, I aim to eventually do paid voiceover work. However, I plan to be my own client, creating voiceover materials for my own training and educational products, as well as doing the voiceover for my poetry." I love that. I love that. And I would say that to end it out on that kind of idea, um, don't ever be afraid to lean in on your creativity. This is, I was talking last night in class. This is, I mean, we cannot forget at the heart of this. This is a creative endeavor. Yes, it's a business. So there's the business part. But most of us get into this because we wanted to be creative. We wanted to enjoy that performance and that expression and to have fun, to use our imagination. I mean, to have a good time doing this. And sometimes, doing that is using your creativity. So, and remember, using your creativity can also, make you money. part of the big reasons why I did Academy Voices was just what John said. I've done thousands now, thousands and thousands of voiceovers all over the world, big and small, crazy, stuff for the NFL and stuff, all the way down to, some guy doing for, his Halloween for post, pumpkins, saying stuff on his, projecting on his house for Halloween. I've done every kind of voiceover pretty much I think you can do. And I wanted to have a modicum of control over my voiceover. So I thought, why not become the big Academy Voices where we could become the production house as well, right? And use your creativity. It can be your greatest source of inspiration, your greatest moneymaker. you know, Sometimes making your demos, use your creativity. Okay. But yeah, I love that, John. I think that's a wonderful thing. Um, let's see. AJ said, would you say that there is a good age to be starting this business? Are some people too late? Good call. No, I actually find that most of the work well, we all do. I mean, we're all in the the golden years, or most of at least of all the voice actors I know are the more in the golden years. I do think it's a little bit younger. Of course, there's opportunities for all ages, right? You think a lot of the younger voice actors, they are going to there. That's a lot more of them in, for example, animation and cartoons. I know games, but cartoons and stuff like that, where there's younger characters and they meet that. But if you think about commercials, think about everything you hear. Those people are our age, right? And they're older. The you know the so no, I do not think that it's ever too late. I would be remiss if I didn't say though that there is certain things that when you do get your voice sounds a certain way, there's going to be certain things you won't do. Like for example, I'm not going to be hired for a little boy. I'm just not going to be like, my voice doesn't do that. Now, could I do like this? Yes, but that's not, it's clear I'm not, that might get around, I might get something, but as I get older and older, you know what I mean? My voice will lean itself towards other things as opposed to others. So it's not that there's never a moment where it's too late. It's just being aware that there are certain things that I won't do, and here's just simple case in point. When my son was doing voiceover for a period of time, right before his voice changed, he got hired a lot to do young boys. I mean, he got hired a lot to do a lot of animations, a lot of things. Then his voice changed, and there was no longer that sound because his voice was deeper, and so he didn't get hired for those things anymore. There's going to be next things. Now he chose to stop doing voiceover, but the point I'm trying to make is that's a part of it, but that doesn't mean that there's ever not time. I mean, I've worked with people who have been retired for years, and they still, I mean, they're still getting lots of work. So you know, audiobooks, documentaries, commercials, all this stuff. Every age is needed. If you think about commercials and everything you've heard just from that standpoint, every age is needed. Good question though. I will say, AJ, though, the thing though is that no matter when you start, you know what I mean, just go all in. Give it a shot. Have fun. Some of the most successful people I've seen are the people who started after they retired. So don't be afraid of that. John says, Hobo Fort question: would packing blankets work well? Let me put this up. After last night's session, I've spent time totally today investigating making my own hobo fort. Yeah, absolutely. So what I did was I had PVC pipe and packing blankets. That's how I apps and remember I held up on the PVC pipe with these little clamps that I bought packs of them from Lowe's, or whatever store you have available to you. Yes, yes, they do. I will say that one set of blankets is not enough. It'll get you started, but I learned over a period of time that I needed multiple layers. So that's why we were saying, if you're able to go get And I'm not sure the thrift store scene in the UK, John. I'm not sure. I'm sure there's secondhand stores, of course, but here where we are, I mean, there's like thrift stores everywhere. So but I would say that packing blankets absolutely work. That's how I started. But towards the end, when I really got my space set up right, I had very thick amounts of blankets. You know what I mean? Like 4 to 6 inches, 8 inches thick sometimes. And those weren't all packing blankets, right? Those were like old comforters, real fuzzy blankets. Remember, I said we had a lot of blankets and pillows. Pillows work really good. Pillows work really good, and clothes, stuffed clothes work really. Stuff. Or when I say stuffed, I mean like rolled up, whatever. You're not using them. If you're trying to throw them away, don't throw them away. Use them. I mean, think about it. It's thick material, and by rolling them up, you're creating a dense source of material that will absorb a lot of acoustical bounds. Let's see. Oh, what's up? From Washington, Strange Storm Cat. Melissa, hello, one of our new coaches. After COVID, my voice was more raspy. Absolutely. Absolutely. COVID is the only thing that whenever I got because I got COVID a couple times, it was the only thing that I truly would lose my voice for like a week. I lost my voice my first time I got COVID. Lost it meaning I literally could not speak for a week the first time I got COVID, and that was ugh. She's a training with Sean Pratt. Love Sean. Sean's been a great friend. Is a very well-known, famous audiobook narrator and great audiobook narrator coach as well. Love Sean. He's been part of our kind of our circle for a while and he trains a lot of people. So he's a training with Sean Pratt on audiobooks right now. Is that going to integrate well with V Academy? Do you think? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So we do have Angela Olfest is doing a specialty class on audiobook. But we also have like Steve, because I know you've been around. We have acting. We've got that improv class. Sean and I really firmly believe in improv. I've always believed in it. And he does as well because he was an actor, did a lot of Shakespeare like me. So absolutely, Steve. Absolutely. Yeah. So good question. Very good question. All right, gang. Well, let's see. Sleeping bags are easy to find. There you go. Sleeping bags are great. Sleeping bags are great. Let's see. John said, only time I lost my voice was I was teaching class at college. In the middle of a lesson, I ended up doing mime. That's great. All right, you guys. Listen, thank you so much for being here today. It was a blast. I hope this helped. And we will be back tomorrow. Of course, Gabby will return. And there you go. So, again, if you've not had a chance, this is your time. Get over to VO Journey Academy. We were talking about scheduling real quick. It's important, no matter what you do, to have time set aside to train yourself. As actors, hands down, you never stop training. That's why even the most famous actors, the most accomplished actors, they're still training. Why? Because time marches on. We change, we get older, life changes, things happen. You have to keep working on your craft, keep working on your voice. We talked last night about warm-ups and went over a whole warm-up routine and made sure we were good with that warm-up routine with time, the step-by-step process every single day. You do these things every single day because we are professional speakers, right? And we have to do all of these things to be the best at our craft. So thank you guys so much for watching. You have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.